Are you someone who wants to build the habit of reading books and you wish that you could incorporate the habit of reading books in your daily life so that you can get immense amount of knowledge and information, but you think you are not able to do it because you don't have enough motivation and enough time to start reading book? This is something I can completely understand because once upon a time I was also struggling with this one. Although I used to love reading books as a kid, I used to look for books all the time. Sometimes I used to read my elder siblings' books. Sometimes I used to go to my neighbors and ask for their books. So I was extremely passionate about reading books. But time passes and the phase of smartphone came. And I'm sure you can easily understand that if you have a smartphone in your hand which gives you instant pleasure and which instantly gives you dopamine and makes you feel satisfied with that, then how could you expect yourself to pick the book which seem a bit boring to many people? How could you expect yourself to read books and especially build the habit of reading books in your daily life, which is a big deal for many people? But as I grew up, I started realizing the importance of reading books. I started understanding that how vital role it plays to change our language skills, to change our mindset, to change our perspectives towards life. And then I decided to adapt the habit of reading books, and very soon I became good at it, and it has become one of my hobbies which I follow on my daily basis. So in this video I'm going to talk about how you can easily build the habit of reading books and how you can easily adapt this habit which might seem a bit boring to many people. So before you pick any book to start reading, I would like you to understand that there are two types of reading. One for enjoyment and the next one for education, information and knowledge. So if you want to build the habit of reading books just for enjoyment, then I would like to recommend you that you should go with fictional books, and if you want to gain knowledge and information, then I would recommend you to go with the non-fiction books. Alright, so the first tip I would like to recommend you if you want to build the habit of reading books easily is to try out different genre. Try out different categories if you want to stick with this one habit. Because if you keep repeating same topics over and over again, and if you keep repeating same genre and same categories over and over again, then you might easily get bored and you might not feel building this habit. So if you are someone who has never read fictional books before, then try out reading fictional books. If you have never read mystery books, any fantasy book, then try out reading those things. If you have never read literature and if you have never read comedy books, then try to read those things. Try to explore every single thing which can help you to stick to this one habit and which can help you to build this habit easily. Because if you keep exploring multiple categories and multiple subjects, then it might help you to find your interest. And along with that, each genre offers unique perspectives and unique information which might help you to foster the love for reading. Next step is pick 2 to 3 books simultaneously. So if you're someone who has never read before and you want to build the habit, and along with that you have picked only one book, then you might have chances to easily get bored. But if you have picked 2 to 3 books simultaneously and reading them at once, then it might help you to save yourself from getting distracted and from getting bored. Because if you have picked 2 to 3 books, then you can easily switch between them. And it can also be beneficial in several ways. First of all, it will allow you to explore different materials and different subjects at once simultaneously. And on the top of that, you will also be prevented from being fatigued and getting distracted and getting bored for sitting in with one particular book, as you can switch between them. So it's always wise decision to pick 2 to 3 books, as you can switch between them and not get bored easily. Next tip is read before using internet. So if you're someone who wants to cultivate the habit of reading books, then you make sure that you are reading books before diving into the internet, because it will allow you to engage your mind in a focused and intentional activity before being bombarded with the endless distractions online. Nowadays, a lot of people talk about reading books before sleeping and before going to bed. But in my case, it does not really work, because if I have decided that I am going to read books before sleeping and before going to bed, then I am more likely to procrastinate, because at that time either I will be extremely exhausted because of the work I have done throughout the day, or I am going to use internet or just being bombarded with endless distractions online, and I will procrastinate that I will start reading books tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes. So in my case, I always prefer reading in the morning, because when I read in the morning, at that time my mind is focused towards reading and I pay attention to every single word without thinking twice and without getting distracted that I have this and that. So I would highly recommend you that if you want to build the habit of reading books, then try to read in the morning, because at that time you will be intentional and your mind will be more focused than reading at night before going to your bed. Next step is don't overload yourself. It's completely insane nowadays looking at people on social media competing themselves with each other that how many books I can read. If somebody has read 50 books in a year, then I'm going to read 100 books in a year. So it has become more like a race for many people. It's extremely funny looking at people thinking that if I will be reading certain number of books, then only I will be able to get validation from others. Then only I will be able to show off that I can read this number of books. But it does not really make sense, because reading should be a pleasurable activity and it should be focused on the quality we gain and the enjoyment we derive from it. So if you're a beginner who wants to cultivate the habit of reading books in your daily life, then don't get into this trap. Try to focus on the quality rather than quantity, the number of pages you read every single day. It does not really matter, because if you have to build the habit, then you just have to focus on being consistent, and it is only possible when you are setting realistic goal for yourself. Even though if you are reading just one page each day with consistency, then I'm sure you can easily build the habit. So instead of thinking that I have to read this number of books, this number of pages, focus on reading every single day. So this is how you are supposed to build habit easily. And remember, it's okay to take breaks, it's okay to switch your genre, and it's okay to abandon a book if it is not able to capture your attention. And the most important thing is that try to be consistent. Even if you are able to read one page every single day, that's alright. You will be able to gradually increase the number of pages you read every day. But in the beginning, just make sure that you are being consistent every single day if you want to cultivate this habit in your daily life. So that's all for today's video. I hope you get some knowledge and get to know something about valuable stuff. Then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye.